Good evening and good afternoon, everyone. It's really great to be here. And I wanted to do this live stream because, I wanted to share some reflections of mine from the Flutter Vikings. Also, if we have the time, I just wanted to do some live coding out of nowhere, to be honest. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to share, just drop it as a comment and I will do my best to help you out. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing really well. I was at the Flutter Vikings last week, and if you don't know, it's I guess like one of the biggest conferences right now for Flutter, and there has been a lot of attendees coming from all around the world, and there was also an online path as well, which is really great. And yeah, like right now, I still feel a bit tired after this, to be honest, but I think it was a really great opportunity for everyone to come together, share their opinions, share their feelings, and learn a lot. And there has been several talks about really great topics, and also there has been a huge announcement as well. So let's check out the announcement together. So, like, biggest announcement is right now there's a new version of Flutter. It's 3.3. And with 3.3, we have some good news and some bad news, unfortunately. So the good news, okay, let me remove the live stream. Start soon thingy because it already started. There we go. Perfect. So the good news is right now we have a new version with 3.3, and you can see that every day more than 1,000 new mobile apps are published. So which is crazy because when you think about it, Flutter is less than 4 years old, and it's really insane to see the progress that it has. With 3.3, they announced a new application called Wonders, and actually with that one, they wanted to they wanted to shift the focus to more iOS ecosystem because they wanted to actually embrace more iOS and understand their point of view at why most iOS developers would like to go with native instead of going with Flutter. So they want to reach out to them and try to understand their point of view. This is a beautiful app. It shows a lot of wonders from all around the world to folks. And if you download it, it's a beautiful application. It's a good case study. And another big news is the Impeller. Impeller is the new rendering layer, the new graphics engine, because Impeller is basically a rewrite of the Flutter engine, and it tries to replace the Skia right now. It will also help you to have better performance for graphics APIs like Metal on iOS or Vulkan on Android. And it delivers silky smooth animations. It is literally raising the bar to another level for you. If you try Wonders, you can see the effects of it on the app. And the idea is they want to rewrite everything so they can actually prevent the jank problem that they had earlier, and they don't want to redo the mistakes that they do before. And if you're an iOS developer as an early adopter, you can actually have it as well. And the sad news is Eric Seidel, I don't know if you know him or not. Eric Seidel is right now the engineering director, but he was one of the people who started the Flutter project. And he has been part of this project for a long, long time, obviously. And now he decided to leave Google, which is kind of a sad news. And I would recommend just keeping an eye on what Eric is doing because I think he will do an amazing job whatever he is doing. And just follow him along or Twitter or GitHub. He said they will still do the Rubber Duck live streams, which they did, and I would carry on with whatever he has done so far over the YouTube channel, which is called Rubber Duck Engineer. Go ahead and click subscribe. All right. So besides that, there's obviously more Dart news. I also set out to tweet this week stating that people are always focusing on the Flutter news, but actually there is a lot of good news from Dart as well. Like one of the things to keep in mind is that Dart right now has 2.18, which is the latest version that they have. And with the Dart, right now there's there's a Objective-C and Swift interop. Okay, I messed it up. There's a Objective-C and Swift interop operation happening right now with Dart by using FFI. And this way you can actually expose any code out of C and from the API bindings, and Dart API layer 2 will be able to generate the required code for that. And there's this time zone example, which has been created as well. And lastly, there's a platform-specific HTTP library as well. This library will allow you to write code without thinking about platform-specific problems. So for iOS, you have Cupertino HTTP, and you can just have the Cupertino HTTP, and it will do the HTTP calls out of actual native code instead of doing it from the Dart ecosystem directly. But you will be only writing Dart. And you have the Coronet HTTP for Coronet-based libraries as well. And you have like better type inference, and there's like pub improvements, including a new idea called funding, which is actually an idea kicked out by a community member. So that's also great news. Just check out the document now and you will see more information about it. So overall, when we think about Vikings, I think Vikings was a really special conference because we had a chance to talk to several folks out there that we haven't seen for a long, long time. And this also had brought us together in more emotional levels, so we could actually spend personal time with everyone and just hear them out and what they have been through during the time period. So that was really great as well. And overall, since the conferences are back, everyone who is watching out there, I would recommend just go to your local meetups, go to the conferences that are around you to focus more to the community, to the personal side of things, because this way you can actually grow a lot as a developer as well. And this actually helped me a lot with my career too. So just like follow it along, do whatever you can do, and just be part of your community. Okay, so what I would like to do right now is actually do a video about how you can create a macOS application / authentication flow with Amplify libraries as well. I will check how many people are watching now. So, okay, so we have 2 people who are watching. If you're watching, I think you are a hardcore Flutter fan. Thank you very much for watching. So what we would like to do is, right now I will just start off a new project, and this project will keep an information about Flutter, and just it will be a regular Flutter project. I would just say macOS authentication. And this macOS authentication project will require obviously macOS, and just let's create the project together. In this project, what I would like to do is I would like to go through the example that we have and try to fix any bugs that might occur along the way. So first things first, let's once and be sure that everything is running perfectly. So this is the counter project. It's nothing different. And what we are going to do is add authenticator library that comes with AWS Amplify to this and create an authentication flow with it and fix any problems that authentication might bring along the way. So you can see that the app is working fine. This is our project. Let's get rid of everything. Okay, let me make the fonts bigger so everyone can see it. Perfect. First things first, let's do void main, okay? And the void main, what it does is it is the starting point, like the entry point for all Flutter applications, right? So what we need to do is we need to say run app, which is the special function that we call if we are running a Flutter application. And we will say, okay, run make OS authentication app. You can see that the app is complaining about what's going on. What are you doing? This doesn't exist. So let's not cry. Let's create that one as well. This is a stateless widget, and this is a const widget as well. You can see that now we have the application ready. So if I rerun this again, nothing changes because this is not the same app. Let's restart it. Okay, you don't see the code. So there we go. Perfect. Now you should be able to see the screen. So this is and so let me show you what I've done so far. I created a main function. This main function is the responsible function for creating a Flutter application. And this is the app that we created. And you can name this anything that you want. And when you run the application, you can see this empty example, which is what we would expect. So next thing that I would like to do is I would like to just add the authentication libraries to my application. So how do I do that? I need to go to my pubspec YAML file, okay? And you can see there are like several stuff here. Let's go back to the dependencies because this is the place that you put the libraries. And let's go back and actually add the required dependencies. So you might be wondering, what are these libraries and what they are doing? Amplify Flutter is the library that is helping us to configure the Amplify related stuff in our application. Amplify Auth Cognito is the library that we use for authenticating our users. We can do sign up, sign in, delete user, whatever you can think of. And for UI, I decided to use Amplify Authenticator because this library brings out of the box authentication flows for us. Do I have to use this one? No. If I don't want to have the authentication flow created for me, I can just remove this one. So right now I decided to keep it because I would like to have that for my application. And I need to go, I will just go and copy and paste whatever I have here to my build function here. So let's import everything that we need. And you know what? Let's have a Cupertino app just for fun and get rid of these stuff. Perfect. So if I say const, now you can see that I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 lines of code that is written right now to actually run all the authentication flow for me. You might be asking, is this that easy? Believe me, it will be that easy. I know that this will fail, but let me rerun this so we can see how much we can move forward by failing together. So let's go and wait for this to be built. It shouldn't take a lot of time. It should be slower than it was before, but it is acceptable. I'm here. You can see that it is showing a loading spinner, and that's all. When you see this, this means that it is trying to actually do something behind the scenes by trying to understand if your user is authenticated or not, or just do a configuration if it is needed. But you might be seeing that it just does the spinner. It doesn't make any sense. The information that this tries to give us is I cannot move forward with whatever the information that I have. So I need to change something. What should I change? I need to actually add the configurations for my libraries to my application. Because if I go to the documentation, you can see that I have a configure amplify function that is configuring the libraries that needs to be added before the build function, before my application is actually created. So I will just copy this one, but I will not use it as I see here. The reason is that I think this being an asynchronous function, relying on the fact that this will definitely end before this starts, is a bit optimistic. So I will just copy this, go back to the top of my class, and paste it here. It will complain about a couple of things. Let me import the libraries and do a tiny fix, because keep in mind, please, this is really important. If you have a feature function, like if you have a feature function, if your function is asynchronous, please be sure that you should return feature. If you return void, it will not kill us. It is not the end of the world for us, but it is really important to keep in mind that this asynchronous function is actually returning a feature. So whatever is consuming this should keep that in mind as well. Okay, now I have Amplify config, but you can see that I cannot import this because this is a special variable comes with Amplify CLI initialization. How can I do that? This is the second thing. So let's go back to our terminal. Let me move that here. Perfect. By the way, if you have any questions along the way, do not hesitate to ask. All right, so I am on my screen. I will just navigate myself to idea projects and macOS authentication. Now I'm in my project. What I need to do now is I need to say amplify init. If you say amplify init, you might have a problem, because if you don't have amplify CLI, which is a command line interface, which is a tool that you should be using for creating, initializing, and doing many more amplify operations. So after you have your account ready, after you initialize the amplify CLI, you should be saying amplify init on your root project. And once you say that, it will say, okay, enter the name of your project. You can name it anything that you want. I will keep it whatever it is suggested to me. Then it will say, okay, I understand that this is a Flutter project, and the configuration file will be here. And if you want to have like staging, release, etc. environments, you can have them as well, but this will be there for now. Are you okay with this? I would just say yes, because it's not going to be a problem for me. And it will say, okay, select the authentication method you want to use. It can be AWS profile, which will take you to the browser and log in if you haven't before, or it will say AWS access keys, which are keys that you can generate and share among the teammates to, like create an application. So let's say that, okay, I picked the profile because that is the most straightforward, and right now I'm a sole developer. And you can have multiple profiles in your AWS profile. I will just pick the default one, which is the only one that I have right now. Once I create this, it will just create and initialize the project in the cloud for me. This might take a couple of seconds, so do not worry if it takes longer. It depends on your internet connection as well, and it will just create some stuff. In the meantime, I will check if you have any questions. If you have any questions, just shoot them into the comment, or you can leave it later on when you watch the video as well. Okay, it is initializing the project in the cloud right now. It says like, hey, do you want to add some improvements? I would say no, because like I don't want to share some sensitive, like I don't want to share any configurations here. Okay, done. So right now our project structure has been initialized. What we are missing is we are missing the libraries that we would like to use. But you might ask, but we have already added those. It's already on the pubspec.yaml. But no, like the configuration of Amplify needs to know what you're doing. So we will just say Amplify add auth, which is adding the authentication. We can have default configurations, but you can actually have like social sign-in and many more as well. Like I already made a video about this. I will leave the link later on below, so you can actually have them. You can pick any way of logging in. I will pick username, and after that, I will just say I'm done. Like I just created everything that I need. So right now, my application knows that, okay, now I can create authentication for this application. Last step that you need to do is you need to say Amplify push. This Amplify push will actually push your local changes to the cloud. Let's do that. And while it does that, I will go back and say, now, as you can see, I'm able to actually import the configuration file. I would like to call this function. In the meantime, it pushes the changes in my main function before I start the application, because at the end, this is a dart function and that's all. It's not something related to the Flutter. What else you could do? You could also wrap everything with feature builder here and wait until it is done as well. It is totally up to you, but I decided to call this here. So for that purpose, I need to make this main function asynchronous, because I need to be sure that this is definitely finished before calling this. So I will say, and lastly, when we configure Amplify, the configuration and adding libraries rely on the fact that the Flutter bindings, the initial widget tree has been created. But if you check out the run app application, the initialization happens inside the run app. So what we need to do? What we need to do is we need to say widgets Flutter binding ensure initialized. This will say that, okay, now first I will initialize the Flutter bindings, create the initial widget tree, then I will call Amplify and run the application. In the meantime, let's check it. Yeah, this is still creating everything on the library. Close this one. This might take a couple of minutes because this is a operation that is taking every initialization of your libraries to the cloud and initializing over there as well. It is already saying this may take a few minutes. So like, as I said, every once in a while you need to do a push and you need to wait a bit, but do not feel like, okay, like, is it broken? If it's not working, no, like it's actually working fine. What we can do is, in the meantime, we can rerun the application and see if everything is working, if everything is all right. So now it says no Cognito plugin config available, recovery suggestion, etc., etc. So You might be asking, but we did everything according to the plan. Yes, you're right, but we still need to have the terminal. So you cannot just bypass this. So you need to wait for it to be finished. Let me check if you have any questions. No, okay. So now it is done. Let's rerun the application again. So let me remove this one so it doesn't fail as well. Okay, so the first problem that you might be encountering, this is an expected problem. Everything is all right. So for keeping the data locally, the Amplify libraries are taking advantage of secure storage libraries. And for using the secure storage, you need to have an entitlement. What entitlement you mean? You might be asking. I might either show you or let's go to documentation and fix that together. So I will just say docs.amplify. And after we are in the Flutter, go to the project setup and platform setup. Once you're in the platform setup, you can see that to run the Amplify Flutter Developer Preview on macOS, you will need to enable signing as well as networking and keychain entitlement. It shows both of them, and now you can do it, but we don't need this. We will do it on our own. Let's start Xcode. And after we start the Xcode, we will open up our project in it. So I will open a project or a file, go to idea projects and macOS application, and we have the macOS here, right? I will just open that up. Once I open that up, I will click on runner, go to signing capabilities. Like first things first, let's add the name, like the team actually that we need. Second thing is be sure to click on both for all the profiles that you have. You can also like click this for App Sandbox, like for the release as well. And last thing is you need to click on this and write keychain sharing. And this will add the keychain access to your application as well. Once you have the keychain access, it will say, okay, Runner has entitlements that require signing with developer certificate because keychain access requires a developer certificate. So click on this one. Click on this one again. It fixed everything for the current application and current developer ID. Let's go back, start from scratch, rerun the application again. I will get a soundboard for these kind of waiting times. Okay, cool. So you can see that now we have a UI, which is like really responsive, working fine. Let's see if it is working. So I will just say Sally to my username. The password will be really secure. For the password, please keep in mind that for AWS Amplify libraries, you need to have a minimum of 8 characters. And lastly, you will have the email address. Once you click on that one, what we will do is we will receive an email. And let me show you the email that you might be receiving. Like it will get a confirmation code. This comes out of the box, as you can see. I didn't add anything. It just adds it because the idea of Amplify authentication libraries is that making everything as secure as possible. And everything that you see on the screen is actually customizable, including the message you have seen before and the confirmation code. So once you confirm it, you can see that you are logged in. And the good thing is, if you close and reopen, let's wait for a couple of seconds. You can see that it keeps the authentication state as well. But you can see that this is actually not the best approach because it says you're logged in, but you can see that there might be cases that you want to log out, right? So what we would like to do is we can use a special function, not function, special button from our authenticator library called sign out button, which simply calls sign out function from the Amplify. And once you create it, okay, let's move this to center as well, main axis alignment, main axis center. Okay, if you click on sign out, you see that you can leave. So around 13 minutes, we were able to create a sign-in flow. How cool is that? And everything works in all the platforms. So I can just close this, go ahead and run this on Chrome. I will wait for it to start. So I know it took 30 minutes because I started at 20. I talked about Flutter Vikings for 8 or 9 minutes to also wait for the folks to join. And for the rest of the time, I simply did the coding and just waiting as well. So you can see that I can do the login that I have here. See, I did the login, everything is on the cloud now. And if I start another instance of another application, it actually does work in all the platforms like Flutter should, right? So yeah, how cool was that, right? Like how amazing was to actually be able to run this stuff over like 15 minutes and have your application ready. So what are the next steps you can take out of this? First of all, go ahead and check it out in Windows and Linux. We tried it out, but go ahead and try it out as well. And let us know. Like we are really active on GitHub. By we, I mean AWS Amplify. We are really responsive to your comments. We really care about what you think about us, what you think about the product, and just share what you have in your mind. Just share what you would like to hear from us, and we will do our best. I can see that there are more people right now. Hi, Göktuğ. And just for the last couple of minutes, I will leave it for your questions, and I will try to answer anything that you have. Just if you have any questions, just shoot. In the meantime, I can actually share some more stuff about AWS Amplify, which is hold on. Just drop your questions if you have any. Do not hesitate. I will just share one news about what we have cooking right now. Let me check if there are any questions. No. Okay, so I will share my tab in a second. Okay. So let me move this. No, actually you can see it here. Perfect. So right now there's a partnership going on with Hashnode, and you can actually create your Amplify project during September, and you can win a lot of swag, you can win a lot of free credit, and actually you can even earn up to $1,000. There are different hackathon prizes like t-shirts, mugs, cash prizes, and so on. You can see if you're eligible, if create a Flutter project. If you can create a Flutter project, and if you have any questions, just ping me. I will be on our Discord to help the folks out. If you're not part of the Discord, just go ahead and check it out. We have several different channels that we help out other folks and actually be part of the discussions as well. So that is it for this live stream. Just check out the hackathon, check out what you can actually build with it, and reach us out. I will share extra links over YouTube right now so you can see it. Let me share them really quickly so you can have the links to the hackathon, to the other stuff as well. So this is the hackathon, and also I will share the Discord invite for our Amplify channel. We also have weekly Q&A sessions every Thursday. Just check them out as well. And that's all from my side for this week. I just didn't want to have a gap between the live streams and the videos. Thank you very much for attending, everyone. I'm really happy to be part of this community. This community proven several times that this is the best one to welcome everyone into this ecosystem. So anything that I can do to help you out, just let me know about Hackathon or Flutter or AWS Amplify. You know how to reach out to me over Twitter. If you don't know it, this is the profile of mine. And until then, talk to you later. Bye-bye.